Dream a little dream of me. Welcome kindreds, it's Jessica the Story Witch, and this video is going to be a review of this book, If Women Rose Rooted, The Journey to Authenticity and Belonging, which is by Sharon Blackie, Dr. Sharon Blackie. I originally read this book when it came out, I think in 2016 it came out. I think it was 2017 that I actually read it, and I reread it again because depth here and really enjoyed it. And I felt like I didn't have a channel when I first read this book, so I wanted to share it because I really think it is a fantastic book, especially for people who are kind of working to increase their connection to the place where they live, and especially those who do feel like they are not rooted in place. You know, if you're living somewhere that you don't feel particularly connected to, or perhaps you're living in a country where your ancestors are not from, you know, things like that. Those are the sort of issues that this book addresses. It's kind of an autobiography of the author. I say kind of because she basically uses the kind of autobiographical elements of her own journey. She talks about the wasteland at the start. She wakes up, basically, not wakes up, you know, metaphorically wakes up and realizes that she is inhabiting a wasteland, that she does not feel connected to the earth at all, that she feels, and that is making her really disconnected and also really panicky, and she has a lot of anxiety and things like that first of all. And so it is talking about her journey from the wasteland back to that feeling of being rooted in the land, in place. And each chapter goes through a different type of place. So I wonder if it's got, so yeah, each chapter is called a different from a different type of landscape. So we've got wells and water, the wasteland; islands of the heart, embracing the call; deep caves and bottomless lakes, the cauldron of transformation; finding the path, the pilgrim's way; moor and bog, retrieving the buried feminine; the enchanted forest, restoring the balance; the fertile fields, the heroine's return; mountains and rocky heights, becoming elder; and then the last chapter is just If Women Rose Rooted. So you probably will have noticed from those chapter titles as well that the book takes a heroine's journey, you know, rather than the Joseph Campbell hero's journey. She envisages a heroine's journey, which involves things like the cauldron of transformation and gorgeous metaphors and things like that. And it's a really powerful book, and it talks about the landscape and about kind of connecting and ways we can connect to the landscape. She also, in each chapter, she meets with and kind of interviews, but it's not like shared like an interview. She does share what other people have said, but it's just kind of woven in, so it doesn't feel like you're kind of reading an interview. That's actually how I first found out about this book, because one of the people that she speaks to in the chapters is Lucy Pierce, who I love her books, and so I follow her. I've been following her online, and she shared that she had spoken to Sharon Blackie about this book, and when I read the synopsis of what this book was about, I was like, that book sounds brilliant. So yeah, I bought it and was not disappointed at all. It is really good. There's also a lot of story in this book, so she actually shares like indigenous stories in most if not all of the chapters. So there is also that kind of mythical story element to this book. So yeah, each chapter has got a bit of her own biography in it. It has got story, it has got descriptions of place and connection to place, and it has got connections to another person, nearly always a woman, I think. She does talk about some men in there as well, but it's women whose voices are being shared in this book. So yeah, each chapter has that kind of structure, which is lovely, and it felt it's not quick to read. It is quite, even though this is like a paperback version, it is quite a weighty book, you know, nearly 400 pages and quite a few references and things in the back, but a lot of to read pages, and the references are the sort of ones you want to read as well, because sometimes they've got extra little snippets and things of information in as well. So I do tend to read the kind of the references as I'm going through as well. So yeah, lots and lots and lots to like about this book, and actually there is nothing that I don't like about it. Which is saying something, because nearly always I'm like, well, I'm not so sure about that. But I didn't feel like that in this book. Also, every chapter, I think somebody's just powering up their petrol lawnmower. Every chapter starts with a poem, which is gorgeous as well. There are lots of, you know, really thought-provoking poems that relate to the stuff. I follow Dr. Blackie online, and she shares a lot of poetry as well with her in her newsletter and things like that, which is well worth signing up to. She also teaches a lot of classes on reweaving us in with the stories of our land, and so kind of connecting, especially with Celtic mythology. That's her kind of area of speciality now. She teaches workshops, but one of the things I loved about this book is that all those other women that she talks to are also doing this. They're also rooting in their own way, and I thought it was really generous, and really it was a really good example of how as women we can help to raise other women up through doing things like this, through sharing about other people who we love's work. And so I wanted to do this review because I want to do that too. I want to share about this fantastic book with people who watch my channel, and you know, if you like the same thought, if you like my channel, it's probably because you are already interested in that kind of rooted practice and kind of feminist spirituality kind of perspective. So you will most likely like this book, and I think it would be especially useful if you are interested in the Celtic traditions, and if you are in like a lot of people who are like in North America but who are not indigenous to North America have enjoyed this book, because it talks about that feeling of being displaced. And I'm not technically, I guess, the target audience for this book, because I feel I am indigenous to where I live. I am, you know, the bones of my ancestors are in this land, but I still got an awful lot out of it. So yeah, there's a lot here, and I love that I heard about it from Lucy, who was also doing that sharing, which I feel like is an important part of this paradigm of women raising women. And there is a section at the back on what does she call it? The postscript, the Eco Heroine's Journey, which has like a kind of guide of things that you can do, and it takes that kind of format of the heroine's journey. So there are some kind of practical, I mean, not, you know, super practical, it's not like exercises, but it's more guidance. There's like practical guidance as well. So yeah, only a very short book report today because I don't want to spoil it. I just would like you to read it. And that is it. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.